I am super excited to introduce our speaker. Tricia Rutherford is a life and career coach, helping women identify their authentic self to live fully. Her work experience of sales, management, marketing, administration, radio, and recruiting, and has provided a unique foundation for who she is today. Tricia uses her skills in every interview, every conversation, and every interaction to help others discover and realize their passion and purpose. A skilled presenter and motivational speaker, Tricia encouraged hundreds to take their next steps. Tricia has authored a how-to book about developing mentor relationships and works diligently on encouraging others every day. All right, Tricia, go ahead, take it away.
Hey, sharing my screen, and I hope that this is all working well. I'm just going to trust it is, and that we're not experiencing any technical difficulties and you can hear me well. So 2 thumbs up. 18 months ago, many of us didn't even know what a Zoom was. So here we are. It's a new day. Well, ladies, again, just thank you so much. I am truly just honored and grateful to be a part of this event today. We're covering a topic which actually was put out to many of you as a selling point as fire, hire, keep. We're not really talking about that. That's a different conversation. We're talking about finding, hiring, and keeping. And so there's never been a time that we kind of needed this information more. So I'm just going to kind of jump right in, and then afterwards I'll be around for some questions and answers. And thanks for letting me play with you today. I like the sandbox. It's a good group. So let's talk about the most important piece in hiring today. Employees are our greatest asset. They are the walking, talking, living billboards for our organizations. I'm certain that you experience that not only in your companies, but also women in leadership. Wherever we network, that becomes the greatest billboard for that organization. So a great experience, your employees will be bragging about your company. They'll light up when they talk about the work they're doing, and they will simply just exude security, confidence, and pride in their workplace. I want to tell you about this guy I met one time. He was a waiter, and you all being in the Tri-Cities, many of you may have experienced him at Applebee's, and it was probably 5 years ago or so. And there was a guy there who was a waiter who was outrageously incredible. He took every customer as his own. He would run around table to table, filling up waters, refilling drinks, whether they were on his docket or somebody else's. He loved his job. People went to the Applebee's in Midland simply to be served by him because he was that magnanimous. And when I first met this waiter, I thought to myself, he is passionate about the work that he does. He is passionate about developing customer relationships. And I thought, if we, as a society, all did what we were absolutely passionate about, this world would be an amazing place. So find your passion and dig there. And when you're finding, hiring, and keeping, find those people who are passionate and have the same similar passions and strengths that will move you to the next level. This will just be a happy world. It'll be like we're all, just yay! We can cheer one another on if we do that. So I'm just saying that was what encouraged me to then become a recruiter. Because one of the things I'm adept at is helping people find their true self, uncover their passions, and move themselves forward. So when we're talking about hiring, we need to find that person. I promise you, when someone loves and is passionate about what they do, it doesn't matter if they're an IT specialist, program manager, accountant, customer experience representative, or an assistant, everyone who comes in contact with them will know. The other side of this truth is that if their experience and their position is not great, it's not challenging, it's not engaging, everyone around them will know that too. So let's keep this in mind when we're seeking to add to our teams. Our employees are our greatest assets. So the world we're in right now, right? Few statistics that we kind of have to walk through. Our current unemployment rate, nationwide, 6.1%. The average in the Tri-Cities, 7.3% unemployment. We can talk a little bit as to why just a little bit later in the presentation. Our virtual workforce, you guys, 1 year ago, 3.5% were working virtually. The prediction at that time was at the end of 2021, that number would be up to 30%. But because of the pandemic, we are currently at 52% experiencing at least 1 day a week working virtually. So part of what we have to do is think about that and make that a part of our forward plan, right? And then this staggering statistic that's happening right now, only 49% are confident that they'll return to their current position when they come back on full-time work. 51% will be looking for a new position. So right now is the time we need to be setting ourselves up, right? It is a job seekers market. We're 100% in a job seekers market right now. There are more help wanted signs in Bay City than there are McDonald's. And if you live here, you know that's hard to come by because there are a ton of McDonald's. I know that they're taking down the Mini Mac, but regardless, we've still got an abundance on the McDonald's, don't we? Job seekers are in a position like never before to select pay range, company culture, flexibility in the work from home space. And you know what's really important? This is really important on the job seeker's mindset. The give back or the service that an organization provides. Job seekers are really looking for a place to belong that serves their calling. So the very first step in this series of Find, Hire, Keep is finding. How do we do that? Who do we need on our team? Being in this seekers world, our approach has to be a little bit different than ever before. And we need to look at who those people are. So 4 major things that you should do as soon as possible entering into a search. Take a needs assessment and a gap evaluation. Assess your current team. Where are their strengths? What are their desires? How do they want to grow? And what are their future steps? Are the team members that are holding you back, are there team members that are holding you back from taking your next step as an organization forward? And what does your current team feel is missing? Who do they need to help propel them to the next step? I'm just going to take a side step here and say one thing that we know women in leadership is enormous on is empowering and engaging with one another. Every member on your team should be being mentored and mentoring someone, not just being mentored, but also mentoring someone, right? So what are you doing to enforce and encourage that? That's going to help your members, your team members, become engaged. That walks us right into creating a vision. So I'm going to go a little biblical here. Don't take it too personally if you don't want to. But there's a scripture that says people perish for a lack of vision. There are entire communities in this state that if you take a drive through, once they were the destination point, they were thriving, but their vision didn't go beyond 1984. And now you drive through those and it's like a virtual ghost town, right? People perish for lack of vision. I recently read a book called The Circle Maker by Mark Batterson. And Mark says the day we stop dreaming is the day we start dying. When I heard that the first time, I got to be honest with you, women. I thought about myself and I said, how long ago did I stop dreaming? I had to do some reflection. And come on, we're just coming out of this year that's like, what the heck even happened? Let's just take a moment to catch our breath. That's what I just had to do there. Let's take a moment and catch our breath. 1 year ago, we didn't know this hiring landscape would look like at all. Fast forward to 2 weeks ago when we were trying to be cautious and careful about our next steps, but knew they had to be taken. And then all of a sudden, we're supposed to be 100% engagement and a soaring economy today, people. Let's make it happen today. Okay, anybody else have whiplash? Come on, raise your hands. I just have whiplash about what's happened literally in the last 14 days. So with a firm grip on your vision, your planning, and thus your hiring landscape, it's manageable. So just to give a moment of encouragement here, keep dreaming, keep living, keep moving forward. Create that vision. And finally, be open to change. One of the other values we've either rejected or reflected is our ability to be fluid and change. The office space is no longer the place to punch in and punch out. Remember that? What does our company culture look like? And what do we want it to look like? I mean, I understand as well as you do that face-to-face is vital. It's important. Side note and commercial for the city office, that's one of the reasons that I've been here for about, 9 or 10 months, is because I get to see other people, and there is a huge value in community. There's a huge value in community. So I encourage that to all of you. But we also have to recognize that WFHers, that's not a bad word. It means work from homers. Work from homers on the margin produce higher quality and more work. They're more productive. That's all there is. So what about allowing a Friday work from home situation? Okay, he's in his boxers. I just thought you'd think that was funny. And it was a guy and not a girl, right? That's important. What about allowing people to come in earlier and start the day earlier and get out earlier so that they can see their kids' soccer game? What about other places in the community for thinking and reflecting away from the desk? Some of those 2-hour meetings, that could be emails. What about bullet point emails? All I'm saying is we have an opportunity to absolutely change. We have an opportunity to value humans and to give our employees a human experience with their families where they can engage with one another and they can feel valued. Because at the end of the day, isn't that what we want to take home with us? That feeling of, I have not only been valuable, but I've added value. It's important. So this is a chance to be open-minded, be open to change, be open to creating a company culture that will give energy not only to your staff, but to yourself. These 4 stages we recommend prior to conducting your search. So when you have that, now you have the foundation on which you can build a correct job posting, on which you can find the people that you know that are going to fit into this avatar of who you are and who your company is. Now, what are we seeking in our candidates? In strategic recruiting, we look for cultural fit and attitude first. Most people look for skill set. But why? They need to be able to do the job, and you're absolutely right. But skills can be trained. If you don't have the right attitude or the right cultural fit, your organization is losing out. Did you know that a wrong hire can cost your company upwards of $9,000 to $14,900 within the first 3 to 6 months? A wrong hire costs as much as 30% of that position's first year income. I have a little tip from a recruiter standpoint. If your organization feels there's no greater need than superb customer experience when you're interviewing. Never hire the candidate who says, well, when I deal with customers, or I've dealt with customers who come in and they're in a bad attitude and I have to correct that. That is not going to be a good customer service experience person. You want to hire the one who says, I love developing relationships with my customers. Every once in a while, someone challenging walks in the door. I do my best to listen to them, relate to them, understand their situation, and help problem solve. So that's just a little bit of a tip thrown out there. If you are looking for customer service people, if they deal with customers, you want to hear that and go, sorry, I don't think we're moving you forward. Have a great day. Click, right? This is not the person you want to hire. Attitude, cultural fit, and skill set have to be the flow from your posting to your interviewing and all the way through. Our second point is hire. Hiring effectively for the future of your workforce. Some of the challenges in this candidate pool are so many of these pools are experiencing a drought. Right now, we've identified in the US that 2.3 million women, just women alone, 2.3 million women have left the workforce this past year to care for their children and their family members. Now, there's a ton of other opinions out there, and the fact is we're thinking that probably August and September, we're going to start seeing re-engagement in the hiring landscape, just so you have an idea. We can give opinions on where all these people are that aren't jumping on board, but right now we know that the fact is that the employee pool is a shallow and dry one. Pre-pandemic, we were seeing filling a position 8 to 12 weeks. Ladies, right now, you can almost expect hiring to take as much as 16 to 24 weeks right now. Again, fingers are crossed that August to September, we're going to start narrowing that timeline a little bit. But be ready for the long game. Identifying quality candidates, my goodness, identifying qualified candidates is a labor-intensive process. When a drought comes in, the candidates run toward the water. We are tasked with searching for those green valleys and water-filled pools to find them. That immediately brought that picture to mind of Tarzan, where all the animals are running in just before Rosie O'Donnell starts singing that song. Do, 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 do. Anyway, Mom, are you sure the water's sanitary? It looks questionable to me. Candidates just aren't really ready to jump into the hiring pool. And they're not going to just show up at your door. It happens, but honestly, that's not the trend. We have to go find them. With today's challenges, what are our next steps? Well, hiring effectively for the future workforce means transparency. It means engagement. I'll go through those a little bit. We've identified what your future envision, you're kind of on that path. Now is not the time to go back on that. We're hiring for the future, not for the past. Engage. A primary struggle we hear in the candidate world is lack of engagement. Are you following up when you said you would? Are you engaged in learning about them and their future vision? Are you taking the time to make certain that they aren't exhausted from the application process? Interviewing. 3 to 4 interview steps should complete your process. If you have a 7-step with an additional 4 personality tests, then they have to lead a presentation, and finally a 4-on-1 final interview. My friend, you're out of touch. I hate to say it. Your candidates are not going to jump through that many hoops, bells and whistles just to get a minimum wage job, right? It's not happening. They have to fall in love with you and be engaged. So let's take time to think that process through. And then finally, make a decision. Recently, I was working on a project And we had presented, they had settled on this one candidate and they were very excited about her. But then in all of our phone calls for almost 2 weeks, they kept saying, well, maybe there's somebody better. Like, who are you looking for? Like, that is, we've already found the unicorn. What do you want to find a unicorn with wings? Like, where are we going here? No, make a decision. Remember, it's a candidate's market out there. So stringing someone along for 2 to 3 weeks while you decide if there's someone better, not a good, healthy practice. Remember that guy you dated in high school? Both of you moved on in life, but never really ended that relationship. Do you remember him? I'm just saying, that's what it's like for these candidates. If we don't give them a thank you for your interest, but we've decided to go in another direction. We so appreciate your time. And if another position comes open that will fit who you are and what you bring to the table, I would love to call you back. I hope you recorded that because you can use those words. I use them every single day of the week. So let them down, give them a final. You don't have to be harsh about it, but your company, your organization has made the decision to go in another direction. And that's okay. They just need that closure, people. We need the closure. And then as a byproduct, I said, engage again. When you follow through on this whole process, again, remember, you're advertising your brand. Don't allow this opportunity to shine a foul light on the brand that you're presenting. If you let them down and they have closure, they're going to say, well, at least I know I'm not selected, So give them that opportunity, that moment. How do I keep the right employees? How am I doing on time here? My time reset. So Amy, Jamie, anybody, if you need to,
You're doing great. You still have 20 minutes left, Trish.
We got 20 minutes. Man, I must be talking fast. Hope y'all are listening fast. We're cruising. How do I keep the right employees? Well, 3 things. Let's break them down. Our culture, competitive pay, and engagement. Did anybody notice the little ring on engagement? Because I thought that was funny. Anyway, our challenges are potentially our current company culture. We need to weed out our negative Nellies and our gossiping Lindas, right? Because they're telling a story too. They're potentially destroying your company culture from within. We just need to be aware of where we want our company culture to be and set ourselves up for success. Competitive pay. Now, we may need a little minute here. We're talking about going up against McDonald's with the $15 per hour wage. They may or may not be our highest competitor. But honestly, there is a reckoning taking place right now in the war of wages. And so we just need to be aware of that. We have to be honest with our budget. We can't spend more than we can spend, right? You know what your pay budget, your salary budget is. We also have to be aware of how that's going to affect our current staff. If our current staff is making $15 an hour and we're bringing new people in at $18 an hour with a $1,500 sign-on bonus, our person that's been with us for 3 or 4 years, all of a sudden doesn't feel very confident in the brand, right? So I know these are all thoughts that you're having and we're all trying to take them in. I hope that I'm not being discouraging as much as I'm saying we are all in the same space and we need to make wise decisions. Maybe there's somebody on your staff already that you can increase their salary who has the desire to take on more responsibility. On the other hand, quote unquote HR people, maybe our HR staff is overwhelmed and we need to think about creative ways to bring on staff to help support them. So, just again, be willing to make those changes. Let's see. I want to make sure I'm in the right space. The primary reason, engagement. The primary reason people leave a workspace is they do not feel any connection and they do not feel valued in a workspace. This is upon our exit interviews. This is what we're finding. People just don't find that they have a voice in organizations. They don't feel connected. Do you know that candidates decide their exit strategy within the first 15 minutes of a new job? Think about your last place that you were a new hire at. You walked in and one of two thoughts crossed your mind. One, I'm staying here for life. This is going to be my home. I am excited to work for these people. Or tonight when I get home, I am going to be back on Indeed, ZipRecruiter, LinkedIn, looking for a new space because this is not it, right? So we need to be mindful of that. Again, I ask, can your organization or company really afford $9,000 to $13,000 by making a wrong hiring decision and not rightly positioning yourself? So whether it's something internal and on the floor that we need to be looking at, or it's something that we need to be looking at as to what our future is going to be. And maybe your next hire is someone that you say, can you evaluate our company culture and help us to develop a future? We know it's not good. What do we need to do to make it good? Course correct, right? So here are some solutions. Have an onboarding plan. Day one should be more than just I-9s, W-4s, and direct deposit forms. This is that moment when that new employee gets to witness and will then carry out your branding, right? What if you were starting a new job today and you walked in a little trepidatiously, walked up to your desk, found your favorite candy bar with a personal note handwritten by the CEO welcoming them? What if you had not only a greeting from the HR department, but were introduced to a coworker who would then show you the lay of the land? Where are the bathrooms? Where's the coffee? Tell them about the ins and the outs of, hey, we usually on Thursdays, everybody brings in a little potluck rather than they show up on Thursday and feel left out, right? What if there was somebody sharing about that company culture and engaging with them? What if there was a meaningful assignment prepared for you to accomplish on day one, where you didn't feel like the whole day was just learning? People who are engaged want something to do on their first day. They want to, again, feel valuable and as if they have provided and added value in their workspace on day one. What if they walked in? I know this is even funny. What if they walked in and their computer, their technology, their phone all worked and was set up with their login information? Like, what? Who does that? Right? This is creating company culture that is going to brand you and have them want to be there, not just for the next 3 months, but 3 years, maybe 10 years, maybe until retirement. They're going to create a work home. That's what we really want. This is a good onboarding day. What if you went home feeling fulfilled and you got to think about, I get to go there tomorrow. This is going to be a good night. You got to have a glass of wine instead of having to have a glass of wine after work, I don't know, just a thought, just a thought. That's a good onboarding day, right? Have your 30, 60, and 90-day reviews already scheduled. Give them the expectations of what they're going to be, not in a harsh way. We're not overlooking their shoulders. Let me tell you another statistic. No, it's not a statistic. It's just plain, simple, factual truth. Every single phone call I get on, I ask, hey, what kind of company culture will empower you? That's one of my interview questions, just on the phone. And I will tell you 90% of the time, the number one response is, I really don't want to work under micromanagement. If you are micromanaging, friends, you are spending energy that is, you don't have time to spend that energy. You are too busy to spend time and energy micromanaging. Can I just speak that over your life right now? You don't have to do that. You can allow people, here is the gate, stay within these realms. If you need to go beyond it, create a plan and come back and present it to me. Wouldn't that be ideal? I think we're going to move much further, much faster if we create that engagement, onboarding, communication, right? So let's start there. Let's stop using energy that we no longer have. Start enjoying our jobs. Stop micromanaging others. Just a thought, going to throw it out there for the 10 cents it's worth. When you create those 30, 60, and 90-day reviews on your calendar, please don't move them. There is nothing more important than having a 30, 60, and 90-day review with a brand new employee. Because here's what happens. We are engaged day one. Boom, 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 boom. We've got all of this focused on them. They're feeling special. Day two, they're still feeling connected. Day three, day five, they're starting to do their work on their own, right? They may connect at the coffee maker. I make sure that the coffee maker is a welcome, lovely place every day. But that's not where they're going to develop with their senior relationships, right? That's not where they're going to always, they're connecting with their coworkers. They need to connect with leadership as well. So I encourage you, make sure those 30, 60, 90, and even 1-year reviews are on your calendar. They're set in stone. Try not to move them for any reason, because that's another way of showing that they're valuable. They're worth the investment of your time. Make sure leadership is involved. I put down here, create a reboarding plan, because I think a lot of times when we're engaging and we're doing this onboarding with our new hires, sometime again, Sally is sitting there 6 years later. This wasn't the way I was treated when I came in. Man, figure out a way to have a half day. You can close your office for a half day. And I'll tell you this, Starbucks does it once a year. They close each of their shops and they start reinventing and creating and just making each other coffee and talking about the workplace. It's the coworkers getting along, right? Let's start doing that in our companies. I know manufacturing is a little bit different. I understand your case may not be, the blanket to which I'm speaking. But if there's any way for you to do that, just that they have some understanding of, again, I'm valued. Present your vision at this reboarding day. Vision cast. Give them a reason to be engaged. Talk about the volunteer opportunities that your organization, your company has for them. Places where they can feel good about the give back. So get them engaged, re-engaged, and dreaming again. You may find with that new energy, you don't have to hire as many when we're this confused, right? There's so much going on. And who knows, governor may stand up on Friday, say something new, and then we have to pull the reins back. I'm just saying it's happened more this past year than ever before. So we're expecting to be flexible. We're expecting changes. Rebirth your internal people. Give them something to dream about with you, okay? Create a mentorship atmosphere. Again, where every employee is connected, trained, and being trained. If you're somebody, and you know this as well as I do, that's why you're part of Women in Leadership, you know that you need to be being fed, right? Any sponge that doesn't have water coming into it dries out and is useless. You need to have water coming in and water going out. Water in, water out. That's the way a sponge works, and that's the way they're most effective. So create that mentoring atmosphere, give them a networking opportunity, give them some training. We all know there's great books out there. Invest in them. If you find a good book that's going to be good for your team, like Finding Yourself, Who Moved My Cheese? That's a good one. If you find those books, invest in your people by providing those books. Maybe an internal library. Again, just throwing some thoughts out there for you. Create that mentorship atmosphere. Communicate 2 ways so each person knows that they're valued and that they add value. Okay, is this helping anybody? Are we getting some pieces, nuggets, things? I know I haven't, you probably want me to answer directly, but how do I find? How do I hire? And how do I keep? Ladies, if I told you that, I would work myself out of a job. That's what I do for a living. You should have known that coming in. But hopefully I've talked about some of those strategies that kind of on a macro scope, you can look at that and say, wow, are we doing this? Your branding it's very important, because when you do start that job search, if you're saying that we are a close-knit family, we're a company culture who engages in one another and values collaborative situations, and that person comes in and your whole office is in closed-door cubicles, you're not who you said you were. That's going to create that first 15 minutes of, where's the exit door? What is my exit strategy? And I know that is not what we want to do, because we definitely want to invest, right, in our future hires. We want to invest in our future.